Yeah, I'm kind of old school in that respect. You know, I tend to use a few different brands. There's microphones that work on drums for me. If they don't, then there's a couple other alternatives. You know, I find the snare drums always a 57 on the top. I've tried everything else, just like the 57. And for me, I put a 414 underneath, a condenser and a dynamic on the snare. Hi-hats, I love the Neumanns, the 185s and 184s, same as for ride cymbals. Overheads, I've been using Audio-Technicas. Kick drum is a Sennheiser 602. So for kick drum, I've been using the Sennheiser 602. And my other, and then the tom-toms, I've been using the Shure 98s. But my other go-to is the Sennheiser, the 604s. I like Neumanns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Neumanns. But that's because I can get hold of Neumanns and use them. And, you know, Sennheiser make a great product. I love the 185s. Are just so sweet on hi-hats. I find that they don't color the sound at all. And especially something as delicate as a hi-hat, it can be thrashed, and it can be also very delicate sound. That mic, for me, put in the right spot, is just, I mean, the sweet spot is pretty big, and I find that's just a great high-frequency microphone. Well, things tend not to go wrong because we have so many backups now, and redundant this, that, and the other, but I was mixing a very well-known British singer when digital consoles first came out, and I embraced digital consoles. And of course there were teething problems, as there are with, you know, such breakthrough pieces of equipment. And the artist and his band were playing a song, and it was kind of about war, and the video screen had bombers coming over, and it was big, and the drums were going crazy. There was this big crescendo, and suddenly the digital console just decided to shit the bed and produce this sound at about 100 dB. And I very calmly got up, walked round to the back of the console and pressed the reset button, and the console cut out for about 3 seconds, which seemed like a week and a half. And fortunately it was in a theatre, so the band were loud enough on stage that it wasn't a great big. And I sat down and I kind of looked around, and the sound popped back up, my session popped back up again, and I just carried on with the show. And we got through that show, and as the audience were walking out up the aisle, they were like, "Oh my God, the sound effects were amazing in that song. How did you do that?" And I had to come clean to the artist. I'm sorry, you know, this is what happened. And fortunately, the artist saw the funny side of that. But there's been other moments, you know, the power in a whole grid, half a grid of a city went down, and so we lost power at a venue, which actually all the sound power and the lights, you could still hear the drums on stage, which is odd. The band didn't know what had gone on, because for some reason they could still hear themselves in their ears, but all the PA was out. So that took a minute to explain.